when I watch these shows, I'm just like, what part did they leave out?
Yeah.
Because damn.
Yeah. What,
it was hard.
40 years of history?
Hey guys.
Hi.
So today we're overanalyzing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
City.
But episodes 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
For one, because it was a to be continued episode.
It really was. Actually, I think this is perfect with these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that.
And they were really good. So I have a ton of notes on construction paper.
I mean, at least it's green, which is my favorite color.
No, it's not. That's my favorite color.
Yes, it is, you bitch.
And it's my birthstone. It's my favorite color.
What's your birthstone?
May.
Oh,
Emerald.
Emerald. Oh, yeah. My mom has actually. I don't know if you know that she has a ring. It looks very like early 90s, but I think my dad got it for her, and it's me and my brother's birthstone. It's one. So mine's blue, and I can't remember what it is, but his is on top. It's like red. I think ruby, maybe. And mine, whatever it is, and she has it. She wears it all the time.
Aww.
It is actually really pretty. I mean, it's kind of ugly at the same time. No offense, Mom.
If she loves it.
Yeah. It's very 90s. Like, it's gold band. It's like, that's what I mean. It's not.
It's retro.
You know what? It's probably actually back in style.
Aww, I love
okay.
that.
Well, before we get into the episode, since you're not as obsessed with, say, as I am.
Newly obsessed.
Okay. Well, that leads to the question. It's like,
so good.
how are you feeling about Salt Lake City so far?
I really like Salt Lake City. I was telling you earlier, I think I definitely judge the women from the Atlanta series because I watched it because so many people loved it. Yeah. Here's the thing. I live under a rock. I am notoriously behind on like pop culture, and like I'll see a meme or a GIF and I'm like, oh, what's that from? People are like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Dom literally has a picture of a woman holding someone back from fighting, and I didn't realize that was from Housewives.
I was like,
cat.
What do I have? Yeah.
I remember they put the cat on the thing and I was like, what is that?
By that brief description, I guarantee you Housewives fans would know what that is.
So I see these things and I just have no frame of reference. So this was my 3rd and 4th episode of watching The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I think they're
Season
absolutely
6.
hilarious.
Yep. They really are. They do. And you know, here's the thing about Salt Lake City before we get into the episode too. I think it's quintessential because they really embody what the show should be about, which is conflict and resolution. You can't have a successful show when there's just conflict and no one wants to film with each other. I.e., look at the Real Housewives of New Jersey. There was such deep conflict that they could not resolve that they had to be put on pause for, I think, a couple of years now at this point.
Oh, wow.
In episode 4, we start to see with Lisa Barlow. But that goes sideways, apparently, with Angie. That's so funny. Oh, well, we'll get to that because I might have a similar thought. But I'm so glad because I love Salt Lake City. I think it is such the blueprint. I always wonder, I'm like, it's like, how often can we reinvent the wheel? Because you kind of can't. But this is a prime example of how it does not get boring because storylines always continue with things that will come up in life.
Well, I think as a newbie, I think you can always reinvent the wheel because somebody's kids are always getting older. Somebody's business is changing. Somebody is this, like in the 4th episode, especially, and we're going to keep jumping back and forth. That's when I got to see Angie at work. I was like, oh my God, her salon is beautiful.
We've never really seen that before.
And so I'm like, with every episode, I'm actually learning them more. And I'm like, what about this? What about that?
Yeah.
So
that is true.
You can always reinvent it because we are always changing, literally.
And that is life. So, I mean, in theory, it shouldn't. But it's like, well, how many times can we fight about the same shit? And I think that's when you have to lean on the real stuff going on in your life, which is why I always say, like, we can spot a fake a mile away. So it's like, if your home is not really yours and you claim it is, you got fake designer shit, you fake friendships or alliances. When you try to do the manipulation behind the scenes, it's really easy to point out, like, okay, there's something going on here that does not feel, and then it's not enjoyable.
So speaking of which, to jump ahead, who brought Britani in? Because Britani has a solo outing with Whitney in episode 4, and I'm just like, where did she come from?
It's Heather's friend.
But she never sits next to her.
Well, true.
Well, okay, not at the camping trip, they weren't buddies, and then at the lodge lunch, they weren't.
Well, last season, because she came on,
like Lisa in between them.
She came on last season, and I'm trying to remember the last season, but I feel like there was a point where I think Heather did acknowledge, like, okay, you're not handling yourself that well. I think it's too dramatic to say it caused tension, but I think
wait, is Heather the lawyer?
No.
Oh, I was thinking about the lawyer. She never sits next to Heather.
Yeah.
Like never. Heather's always next to Angie.
Or Lisa.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So she's kind of estranged herself from her.
Now that you say that, I am thinking about. I'm gonna overanalyze that because they've been friends for a really long time, I believe. And I don't think there was a rift, but I think there was maybe very, very slight minimal tension because there's a whole thing with why the majority of the cast doesn't trust her. It's because they did a cast trip last year when she was filming on her cell phone and sending it to somebody. And even though she claims that she wasn't, she was kind of like, I was trying to end it. I didn't know.
Wait, what do you mean? Because they're being filmed on camera.
Imagine us filming a reality show. A very popular one.
Like this podcast?
Yeah, like this podcast. And I'm filming our conversation. That's no one's going to know what's going on for months and leaking it out there.
Okay.
And who's to say like certain things might be like confidential or like
cameras
are down. Yeah, right, exactly. So it's this kind of a shitty thing. And it's like, it makes you like, oh, are you recording our conversations normally? That's what it was leading to.
Okay.
The whole cast like came out. She cried and had to leave the van that they were in. It was a whole thing. If you hear like Meredith is the one that had a major issue with her and still clearly does. When you hear like trust come up with her, that's what it stems from.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me start off with this.
Okay.
So
I cried the whole time.
Did you?
So it's October 2025. March 2026 makes 4 years since my dad passed.
Oh.
And episode 3 is Angie and her dad and the old memories. And
yeah, that was a beautiful scene. Yeah,
it was beautiful. And she talks about being Greek. And my dad was born in 1945. He used to talk about the Great Depression and all this stuff. Every single day he would write down everything he spent. Like he literally would like keep track of his numbers on paper because he wanted to like see it. And then you get Bronwyn and her dad having Alzheimer's. Yeah. And so the mom is there.
I had no idea that happened.
And so I'm just like, first of all, I miss my dad. And so, but if I could see him and he only remembered me from college, but it was really, really emotional for me.
I can understand that. Like that. I hate that we use the word trigger because I think people often these days use that as a more of a negative. Like I'm triggered, but it's a legitimate word that it triggers an emotion inside you. So I can understand that. Oh.
Well, it was really sweet. Okay, so my mom doesn't care for flowers and stuff. So when my dad passed, she didn't want any flowers at the funeral.
Really?
She didn't want any because she just didn't want them. Someone brought a planter.
Yeah.
And all of the plants I have in my plant room, and I'll put up a picture here, are all from my dad's funeral. So I took this planter that had 7 different plants, and I've since propagated them into 18 plants that I have in my house.
I love that. I didn't know that.
So yeah, so every time I go in there watering them and stuff, I always think about my dad.
Like, hi, Dad?
Not, well, like Adam and his mom.
That's what, when you just said that, no, not to bring it to them, but I was like, oh,
from him just like that. Yeah. Every time I water them, I think about my dad.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I just thought you were like a plant lady.
No, I never had plants before them.
Oh, you know, it's expensive bee.
Well, you give me plants now. I think I have 3 from you.
I remember that small one that I gave you. That used to be at your desk.
His name is Moose. I still have him.
Another one that has glasses, right?
Yeah. Well, he grew out of that pot. I'll send you some pictures. I know. Yeah. So it was a big I mean, in episode 4, we find out that Mary has lost her mother, and so she talks about that.
When I saw that, I was trying to remember. I'm like, did she mention that last year's reunion? I makes me want to rewatch because I feel like it might have come up. Otherwise, if it didn't, I was like, I didn't know she like passed.
That outfit she had on in that church,
I know.
that purple.
I know. Okay, all right. So let's start from the beginning. So the episode opens with kind of awkward. Bronwyn and Todd dealing with family pressures. Bronwyn's father has Alzheimer's, and her mom is recovering from surgery. And tensions around her mother's remarks.
Yeah,
that was a very uncomfortable conversation to watch. I don't know if it's him not interested in filming anymore. He did not get a good light last year necessarily.
And that's one of my notes. They mentioned how he used to speak to her. What was up with that?
He was very stern with her, like almost like he was her daughter. That's how I interpreted. Like he kind of, I don't know if controlling is the right word,
like
but
condescending.
Kind of, but like very like, he wasn't very supportive of her in a lot of ways, like with arguments. He's kind of like, well, then don't be friends with them. Like her arguments with Lisa last year, it was like, there was a whole thing where they rented a home. I can't remember. I want to say it was like Palm Springs, but that doesn't seem right. And she rented the home, purchased everyone's plane tickets. And then a big fight erupts, and he wasn't really backing her up in the way that she needed. Meaning, like, not that a husband needs to step in, but it almost felt like he was blaming Bronwyn in a sense of like, well, then don't be friends with her. It was almost like he watched it too quickly, where it's like, I want my man to be like, you know, fuck that bitch or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it comes from. And at the reunion, he kind of took responsibility. He's like, you know, now seeing myself, I could be a little more sensitive and have your back in a way that she needs.
And I think that's the key, in the way that she needs.
Yes.
Because, like, the husbands, they do hear a lot of the friends' drama, but also, like, you can forgive your friend and you can know that they make bad decisions, but the other people don't necessarily forgive. Yeah. Like, I don't tell Theo a lot of stuff because, like, then Theo's gonna be like, Dom's doing that again.
Yeah.
And you can't...
Why would
I
do?
Be mad. I know, that's why I don't. husband for if the one thing they remember is always this.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because it goes back to like, if your friend is dating an asshole, and it's like, do you tell them? Because, or like if they break up and you can be like, I never liked him, and then they get back together. There's like a line of like, what do you say, what you don't say. You want to be supportive, but not overreaching, because you just never know. And to your, because I'm the type, I'm loyal to a fault. Any of my friends will tell you that. I am that bitch that I would say, like, if your man like mistreated you but you stayed with him, I'd be like, girl, I don't want him to talk to me.
Or Kyla, please don't bring that person. Yeah, I don't want to see him.
I have done things like that to be, I'm like, I'm so sorry, but they're not welcome in my home. So
if they've hurt you enough, and
yes,
you've seen it,
I have done that before.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I've had those conversations before they get to that point where I have to tell my friends,
that's a mature thing.
But it was probably bitchy at the time, because I'm like, look, I am
maybe.
staying here, so either you trust my judgment or we don't discuss it.
Yeah.
But that's also where I'm so like double down on the things I do that
I think that's the
let
thing.
me figure it out when I'm ready.
Yeah.
But also, Kyla, if you've only been telling them the bad things...
It is very complex. And
is.
It's situational. I think it comes down to what you literally just said is, if it's my friend that I'm supporting, you have to trust their judgment in that situation. And we already know, like, we have to learn all life lessons on our own. We can't force our loved ones, our friends, to make certain decisions. They have to learn and have to see it, whether it's something kind of dark or maybe it's some sort of mistreatment. They have to learn that on their own. But I think there is a line of like, hey, these are my feelings. Do with it what you will. I will do my best to, proceed further. But luckily, I haven't had to have that conversation too many times.
It's a hard one. It's definitely a hard one.
Do you have anything else on that very awkward scene?
Well, okay, so it was awkward.
I thought it was very uncomfortable. I felt bad for her.
But it was my introduction to her husband, because we hadn't seen him in prior episodes.
That's true, yeah.
And so I like Bronwyn, though.
I love Bronwyn,
and so I do like to see her, and she's bubbly in this, and then her husband's very different. And I think
do you notice that she gets a little different? I mean, I know it's only a snapshot, but
I think if I didn't know that she was new on the show, I could tell from it, because you can tell that she's just finding her footing with like, this is still my marriage, but also I'm on TV with cameras.
Especially this conversation that they're having. It's very personal. Yeah,
you can just tell. And then I was about to say the dad, because he gives father energy.
He does, yeah, very much so.
But even when he's like, all these people live in the house, she's like, thank you. You've rearranged all this stuff. And
she was really I'm going to tell you something, and I didn't think about this since watching the episode. I'm obviously not in a relationship, and that I'm not married.
Your mom and kids don't live with you?
They don't. And I told them, you're not. Sorry. For some reason, I think it's thinking about myself in an emotional space when I'm in a relationship. So here I'm watching her really like having such gratitude for him of like, I know you rearranged your whole life. It is a lot to have my mother come live with us, and her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. Like, there's a lot of elements, and what I witnessed was a lot of gratitude. And he was kind of like, yeah. And this is why I'm not open to a lot of people about what I'm going through. And anything, because of fear of that kind of a reaction. Because sometimes you just want someone to say the thing that you want them to say. But I've also been like faced with situations where someone's like, stop having expectations on me of what I'm supposed to say. And it's like, at what point do you go, I would do anything for you, and that's it? Like, even though maybe you don't, I hate to say it this way, maybe you don't feel it, but that's what they need to hear right now, because her dad's fucking sick and her mom was sick, and so just be give her the fucking love. That's all I wanted to say. Give her a hug or something. Like, damn.
So, Bronwyn's daughter is not his daughter with Bron. Does he have kids?
I can't remember.
Or we don't see him on the show. Okay.
We definitely don't if he does. I can't remember. So I think so, though.
I think the show is brilliant. The editors, the producers, because I haven't met the mom yet. So you hear them discussing the mom.
None of us have till the season, yeah.
So they're discussing the mom, and it's like, wow, okay, the daughter's there, the boyfriend's there. Oh, the mom lives there, but she just got out of surgery. And then the mom's kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, so I thought the mom was funny in episode 3, and then I really disliked her in episode 4.
When we get to that, yeah, I agree with you.
But she does say in episode 3, she says, you couldn't have gotten here without Todd.
Yeah.
When I heard it, again, episode 3, I was like, okay, you do need money. It does improve parenting. You needed some stability. You were younger. So I don't know how long they've been married, but I was like, okay, he came along. He's now been stable for you, and I get it. Okay, cool. But the way the mom said it, with that mom quintessential judgment of just like, but you were shitty without it. Like, she Same words, but without the judgment. I was just like, she's such everyone's caricature of a mom, that dismissive, rude mom. But then I was like, wow, that's probably why your husband speaks to you that way, because you're used to hearing that voice. You probably chose someone who speaks to you like that.
That's what I thought too. Yeah, we'll get to that. I would say, like, luckily, my mom would never, ever say something like that to me. She would never talk to me that way. And if they even thought that, they know better. They know me. I'm sensitive. I'm emotional. I wouldn't also just date a man for money. I mean, though it's looking really nice these days. I'm like, fuck. But I literally said, after that horrible conversation at the end, I said, what a fucking bitch. And sorry, I respect my elders. Like, I don't take pride in saying that. And if Bronwyn, Newport, I love you so much. And if you ever listen to this episode, please don't take offense to that. Though I can understand why you would. But I felt like really hurt for some reason. I'm like, I'm not even connected to these two, but whatever.
To feel hurt through a screen, thousands of miles away, months and months away, means it must have been that much deeper.
It struck something in me that I can't even relate to that situation. And I was just like, and I think it was like that, watching a mother and a daughter just clearly having like layered, challenging life experiences. And you just want your parents to be like, I love you. And I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And I want to acknowledge you and champion you. That's all we ever really truly want. And it was almost like, okay, we're getting there, and then not. And I
mean, parents can be assholes because people are assholes. So there's that. But like, even from the jump, she's like, is this cold? Like, Bronwyn knows that that's just her mom. Her mom's a complainer. And also her mom is going through something. I mean, to have to go through 25 years of cleaning out this house, but also like,
that's true.
You don't have to put your funk on other people.
Exactly.
And that the mom was definitely doing that. And it's like, Mom.
But it sounds like she's always been like that.
Are you ever going to forgive me for not being this perfect daughter?
Right, in your eyes. I didn't follow the path that you had envisioned for me.
Because my thing is, that episode was rough because you should at all times validate yourself. That does not mean you don't want support from other people. And it's not fair to say, just because her mom is hard on her, she can't still love herself. Like, it's not one or the other. It's like,
well,
your mom can still be who she is, and you know you're not going to change her. She'll only change if she wants to. But also, like, you have to love who Bronwyn is now. I'm trying to not jump into episode 4, but when she talks about when they went shopping for the baby, and she's like, oh, I'm not buying anything for her.
That broke my heart. And I'm like, I am not even paternal. I can't relate to this situation. And I think I might have gotten a little teary-eyed for a moment. Because you could hear her telling this story.
And she was saying it with pride. The mom was.
Yeah. But rehearing Bronwyn tell that story.
And the mom's like, you're a disgrace, of course. I mean, that was what you got out of it.
Right,
but
exactly.
You're just like...
Exactly. I think, and I'm not saying there's no, like, life is very colorful and we definitely should own our own traumas. But our first point of, like, emotion and learning emotional intelligence is, I'll say, our parents. Yeah. Obviously, that looks different. Like, if you're adopted, like, who your paternal figures are, your protectors. Mm-hmm. That's where you start to build your emotional intelligence. Even though I'm not paternal whatsoever, I do not want children. Never say never, whenever. I'll please the people that want to hear me say I want children, because I apparently am good with them. I am highly, highly sensitive to, like, anything child abuse related, for instance. Like, I was at the grocery store yesterday and I saw this, the mom, I'm assuming maybe her husband, but I don't know. The kids were in the cart. I think she was doing some sort of, like, food delivery service because she kept scanning everything on her phone. Okay, it was late at night. They were like 2. Yeah. They were little cutest little girls. It's like, I'm assuming sisters. And she was like, shut the fuck up, bitch. To her little and I literally stopped and I was done in the aisle. And it was almost like I felt a need to, like, I'm going to be present so they at least know that there is another adult in this aisle that at least maybe for these 5 minutes.
If that'll change the behavior.
Or, like, you don't do that right now in front of me. Oof. And it just, I almost started to cry. And I don't know what it is about things like that I'm hypersensitive to.
I mean, because they're defenseless. They're literally children. Okay, so you're doing what you've either been taught or shown.
Yes, I agree.
Or, so, like, either they've been talked to that way or they've talked to someone else that way and it's been effective and it's worked. I grew up in a very, like, disciplinarian type house. Mm-hmm. And I remember the first time we, like, spanked my daughter in her hand for doing something. And then, like, for the rest of the day, she slapped her hand or slapped her teddy bear's hand. And I was like, just that quick. I was like, okay, I will never do that again.
Yeah. You initially, you were like, I did that.
And I was
I showed her that.
Yes. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I used to not like getting my hair done. And so I started doing my own hair when I was 8 years old because as an 8-year-old, I still have ears and can hear. And you're in the hair salon. Her hair's so thick. We don't know what to do with it. Good luck. I can hear you.
Right.
And so I was like, my daughter will never.
Yeah.
So I put up a video and I was like, I know I do a good job with my daughter's hair and I'm gentle because she's gentle with her stuffies.
Yeah.
She's spraying the water. She's doing this. She's like, oh, sorry, it's dripping. And I was like, I get to model that behavior. Exactly. So all that said, you just learn and you pick up what you've been around and you've seen. And so like, but when it happens with someone who's defenseless, it does make it sad. And to be 18 and be Bronwyn, you're still my mother saying that you don't believe in my actions, so therefore my child gets nothing.
Yes. Me at 18 and you're pregnant, your whole world is rocked. And you're still, again, learning your emotions and how to process things because we were also ever evolving and changing.
Yep. Pregnant. Which pregnancy on its own is new.
Right.
You don't know what's happening. You just know that you're growing or something.
Not every pregnancy is perfect.
Not everyone enjoys being pregnant. And then here I am going through this for the first time. You've clearly done it at least 3 times. She has sisters. I think she had 2 sisters, maybe 1. It was hard.
That broke my heart.
It was hard. And the thing is, when I watch these shows, I'm just like, what part did they leave out?
Yeah.
Because damn.
Yeah. What,
it was hard.
40 years of history?
But even if the mom learn that from her own parents or other things she saw, like you're still allowed to change.
Yeah.
She still as an adult can be different and better.
Yeah.
Last thing with parents. What about Angie and being Greek and getting
I was gonna say the next thing was Angie visits her father.
Yeah.
And
such a sweet old man.
Such a sweet man. Yeah. He clearly loves her daughter. I will tell you, this full disclosure throughout this and the next episode. Angie has become one of my top tier, my favorite housewives on my list. I love Angie so much. I think there's so much depth to her, but almost so much light to her as well. Her comebacks, and we'll get to some of those too. I think she's
really
she's
funny.
Hilarious. But I sense a realness with her, and her scene with her dad and showing the pictures and her. I think those are such very impactful and beautiful moments to have, like with your elderly parents. Because
I love when she's like, "So, were you told not to smile or what?"
I know. That's what I mean. Yeah,
life was hard. He was like, what
and you're like, oh damn,
about?
We're gonna go there. Okay.
She's like, I'm worried about microneedling, and you're like, you know what? With real shit.
I'm glad you said that too, because another appreciation for Angie is here. She is in her confessional with that big bow dress, stunning,
beautiful.
But what she can do, and unfortunately, what other housewives can't, is she can separate what you just said. Like, here's my dad talking about when he had literally nothing at a time when most people didn't have anything. And took a risk, which I think is what we'll talk about Americans.
Yeah,
we forget that history exists because we're so fucking self-centered and selfish all the goddamn time. That for her to acknowledge, like, I'm worried about all this, like microneedling and our Botox appointments and whatever. That is not struggle whatsoever.
I know,
and that's important to put into perspective.
Yeah,
and then to talk about the bright side of parenting, I suppose, is when you have supportive parents like that have been through shit and be able to bond over like hardships. I think that's when you get back down to reality. I'm like, okay, the things that I'm stressed over, or maybe things legitimately I'm stressed over, it puts things into perspective to keep it moving, keep putting one foot in front of the other.
It does, but also the perspective of it all, because then she's telling her daughter, and her daughter's like, I don't care. What's you and being Greek? But there's layers to that. Because this is an overanalyze podcast.
Yeah, there is.
Not to say that Angie is playing up the Greek more than she does at home, but she does talk about how her house is stark white.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you go to Greece,
it is very like Mediterranean.
So we're like, maybe she wants more of that. Maybe she wants to eat Greek food more often. Maybe she wants it more incorporated.
It's definitely in her.
Just getting the
it's been part of her storyline. I think they even go to Greece this year.
Yeah, but then also Angie is going to eventually realize her daughter will have her own feelings,
identity,
and that has to be what it is. Just like the dad could be obsessed with Greece, and she might not. Like, she'll realize that her daughter has to have her own, and it's so fascinating to see them having a teenager, and she's just like, teenagers are tough, and I'm like, I don't know, but I'm curious to see.
I was the worst teenager.
So when she goes over to Heather's house to paint, and I look at those things and it all looked like white paint. And she was like, this, and this. And I was like,
I saw the video. Heather did do a tour with BravoTV.com, and I saw the finished product.
That room, she was like, oh, this was the storage room for their stuff.
I know. I think that was
room is beautiful.
That looks like a sunroom or like a closed-in patio.
I'm obsessed with like big like French windows and all that lighting. And I was just like, that was the storage room for their stuff. I really like Heather.
I do. Well, she won me back. But that leads to, so after that, we talked a little about this already, but Bronwyn meets with her mom about selling the childhood home, and her mother lashes back at her, at Bronwyn, for needing Todd to succeed. So I know that we talked about that, but I want to go back to that for a second, because I do want to acknowledge, like, I did feel like really bad for her mom having to go through, and that there was that where was that? She was traveling, I think, because that wasn't in Utah. She was traveling to like California, I think, San Francisco.
Where her childhood home is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize that was the home. I had to like rethink about it. I thought that was just like a house that they bought. And I'm like, oh my God, that's actually... Because I've seen that storyline with other housewives, or actually I think maybe only one. But I have known people that have had to do something similar. Like, I think clearing out a home of either a deceased loved one or maybe one that's just close to not being present.
It's hard.
That is hard, let alone like your child at home that you share with your husband. I thought that was really sad.
See, I watched this show and it just makes me realize how abnormal I am, because my parents did not like photos and videos.
Oh.
There are probably 10 pictures of me.
Really?
My sisters have photo albums. They did not do photos and pictures, and I don't know if their parents didn't. So my mom will be like, "What is this, your 25th picture, Maddie, today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because she changes every day."
Yeah.
So I'm like, 25 years worth of stuff. We would not have had all of that.
Well, I think she even said, she's like, there's things that she hasn't even looked at or something. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do something like that.
Well, okay, there's a book I read a couple years ago called The Art of Swedish Death Cleaning, and it's about this. It's about like every 8 years you go through all of
They
your
do
stuff.
sell things over there.
Well, it's just like so that somebody doesn't have the burden of going through all your shit. If you haven't opened it in a while.
Oh, this is literally like about death. Then.
Literally. Oh. Yeah, but they're also like, you can just make it a practice of just like, I don't open that. Let me get rid of that. And I was just like,
I need to be better at that. I'm at a hoarder, and I look around. I'm like, I have so much stuff, and this is me like my clean girl aesthetic of like minimize, and I still feel like it's too much. But I'm like, but I might need like that's my always my go-to question. I'm like, I might need this. What and here's the thing, I'll validate it because there's been random times 3 years later that I'm like, man, I really wish I had that piece of paper.
You'll always find a use for something. Always. I'll say this. First of all, the makeup artist, and I know we don't talk about people, but she was giving Mommy Dearest before she even started speaking. And so I was waiting for the wire hanger to come out. So I was already judging her and expecting her to be harsh. And then she was. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, that matches.
Could you let someone move in with you who talks to you so nasty?
No, not me.
At first, I was like, wow, how selfless. And then I find out she has siblings, and I was just like, oh, but there was a choice to go somewhere else? Oh,
was
no,
there
no,
though?
No. I don't know. Yeah. Well, as of episode 4.
Well, that's when that's when I was like, oh, she has siblings, and where the fuck are they? Because she clearly likes them more.
Because as an adult, old school parents were different, but you do not have children to take care of you as you get older.
Is it fair to say old school if your parents raised you in the 90s?
Yeah, I'm an 80s baby.
That's not that long ago. When you think of, when I hear old school, I'm still thinking like the 60s.
Okay, so let's say Bronwyn is 50. 42.
Yeah, she's 39, I believe.
She's 39? Mm-hmm. Oh, it just made me feel old.
Let me confirm, so maybe I can make you feel better.
It's okay. But I would not surround myself with people who do not care for me and do not wish me well, mother or not. So, I can come over, I can help you clean up the house. Okay, I can come over and help you clean up the house, but you're not moving in with me.
It depends on what stage of my life I'm in. Like, do I have money? Do I have enough room? Because I grew up with such family ties. My dad's side were Italian. My mom's side were Polynesian. They have very strong, like, family, like, culture. Yeah. I don't connect with that as much as others do. Okay. But I do enjoy, I like having my distance and like being present when I'm with family. Yeah. It has nothing to do with my love or my heart or anything. So take that. But I do have this, like, I would love, like, if I had like a husband and like we had like maybe
like a mother-in-law suite.
Yeah, like disconnected from the house, but they have their own shit and be like, I can go and they're like bullshit with my mom.
So you can see them when you want to, but also have your privacy.
They're listening, like, oh, see our little boy.
But if you were Bronwyn's mom, who did we even learn her name?
If my mom was like Bronwyn,
she's judging the way you're doing this and the way you're raising Lucy and the way you're doing that. You're like, why did I ask you here?
100%. I would have that.
If it furthers her plot in the show and her storyline, great.
This is the vibe that I get from Bronwyn. I wonder if I wonder what the dynamic is with her other sisters in this conversation. It sounds like she felt a responsibility to be like, I don't know if it was so much of like,
first of all,
I don't think she was like, yes, my mom is moving in. It was more like, okay, well, she's had some setbacks and like she had surgery.
I think it was a split. I think she feels responsible, but also she's a people pleaser, and the mom preyed on it to say everybody else told me no because they have boundaries.
Do you think that she did it?
You would have allowed me.
And I wonder if they'll get into this in the season. I wonder if there was a part of her that thought my mom's gonna see me like raw, like maybe this is an opportunity for us to become closer.
No,
you don't think that?
Because I think that she just wants her mom to be like, your life is different than mine, but I respect you, and I can't see her mom.
Well, that's what I think that's what I'm saying, but maybe a little deeper of like maybe she thought like with these sit downs that they keep having, that her mom will just tell her the things she wants to hear, like, I'm proud of you, period, not then a dig.
I could see that. But what I know for sure is that I love that Gwen gets to see her mom and then her grandmother. I think that grandparents are so important. I lost my only living grandparent when I was 8 years old. And you need to see your parents as kids. Yeah. It does help to see them because they get up, they come over and then they're just like, Mom, what do you need? What do you need?
That's true. I agree with that.
That is a very special thing. I do love that.
That's true. I agree with that. Like unfortunately, both of my grandmothers have passed this year. Yeah, you gotta laugh within a couple of weeks of each other. But it is nice when I'm like reflecting back what you just said. I never thought about that. Seeing my dad with my grandmother, like my dad loved his mom. But so to your point, that's a really good point. I never really thought about that.
Because my daughter,
it does play a role, and I guess you don't really think about it till you are forced to think about it. You're like, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, my daughter is 5, and I look at her, and she's 8 months old, like stumbling, walking. And I know she's not, but you see her and you just wonder, like, did your dad?
Is it that thing when parents say, like, you'll always be my baby? Is it like that kind of? Oh, that's really
because you think like you see them and you think of how you felt when they were 5 years old, and you're just like, you're always that Dom, or you're always that Kyla.
That's really sweet.
So your grandparents probably had that. And then they get to see them with their kids, and then they're like, look at my G, I guess you look like your uncle, or like it's cute.
I'm gonna ask my grandfather that. Though he's a very old school Italian guy, so I don't. I don't know. Or he tells me he loves me these days. So I'm like, okay.
You should ask him like, "What's your first memory of me?" It'll be something random.
He'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Over that thing, and to tie into everything we've been saying, the mom could love Bronwyn deeply, but that doesn't mean I don't need you to say.
I don't know how to express it.
Yeah, or like maybe even if you can't express it, how about you just don't criticize me for one day?
Yeah, I could see that.
You know what I mean?
It's probably all she's really asking for.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get into the meat of the episode.
Yes.
So Lisa stages a skeet shooting outing for a select A team, which includes Amy. So Amy is coming back.
Yeah.
For whatever, I don't know what her capacity is.
Utah socialite.
Yeah. Like
not even Salt Lake City.
Utah. Like that's okay. That's an accomplishment.
What if she like owns the jazz team?
I'm gonna look her up. I want to do a date.
We should
because I want to know what her thing is. Yeah. But it includes Amy, Mary, Heather, and Meredith behind the scenes of the main event. So you have the other girls. They're gonna be joining. I love
that event. It took me back to Cowboy Carter and all the outfits. They were stunning. The boots, the hats. Mm-hmm. First of all, Heather is my girl. Her whole outfit. I was like,
I know. And I know this is Housewives, and obviously, like, I love everything about Housewives. But even I have moments where I'm like, y'all had to dress like this to shoot fucking guns.
That was
plates
so
or whatever it was.
Coded for them to be like,
I'm like,
shooting.
This is when you have to laugh at Housewives in moments like this, because if I said, hey y'all, like I'm gonna invite you guys, like friends of mine, we're doing skeet shooting, I would expect you all in like hoodies and like no one's gonna be like, I'm gonna wear the, that's when you gotta laugh. Like, this is so Housewives.
I loved it.
They all look pretty.
I was like, this must clearly
but
be
also
Utah.
How awkward. You have half the gang looking like that, and then half of them like, I thought I was going to like a ladies brunch kind of thing.
I know.
And then it's quite clear what's about to happen.
I know.
Which then leads to, so for lunch, this is hilarious. Lisa unveils giant posters of court documents and headlines, all stamped dismissed, along with images of her and John. Elisa attempts to defend herself, denies claims that says people can allege anything, counters that dismissal does not equal admission. Well, you're a lawyer, so I'm going to let you start.
As the lawyer, let me say, it is very difficult to be sued. Mm-hmm. They show clips and images of screenshots.
Mm-hmm. Do you mean like emotionally? Is that what you mean?
Emotionally?
Because you can sue anybody, really.
I mean,
it doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. But.
You used to Venmo me all the time, and in the line 4, you would write dildo or sex party or
At
whatever.
Work, yeah.
That is funny to say on a podcast. when you have a judge and 35 people reading it, it is very hard to be sued.
That reminds me, I'm so sorry, I don't know why that reminds me of, I was suspended from in high school twice, and I got detention up the yin yang and school suspension, all that. But my friend did she prank phone called the teacher on my cell phone.
Oh no!
Yeah, so security came in, obviously because my name is attached to it. She left her a voicemail, and she talked in a voice like that. It was like what she said was horrible. I won't repeat it because this is not going to surprise you about me. Because in very like tense situations, I tend to laugh sometimes. The principal, guidance, not just security, but police, were all in the principal's office. And they replayed me the voicemail. And I will never forget. I'm sitting in the chair. I'm like trying to cover my mouth. At least I knew like I need to be respectful, but I can't. I'm laughing so hard right now. That's what I think about when you say like
all these people listening to your stuff.
Yeah.
So it's funny for me to get the message. I'm sure someone on the Venmo side is like, fuck off, and just marking it.
Oh, I never thought about that.
But when you are in a court,
I still do that, by the way, to everybody.
If you're suing someone, whoever big lawyer is in a room with 35 other people reading all of this, there's probably 1,000 eyes that have looked at that stuff. So it's very hard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But also, okay, so let's say I'm suing you. Dominic owes me for chapstick. Here's the stuff I want.
I'm like, get a life.
Then you respond, get a life. I deny I owe you chapstick. I deny that.
Like a text.
So what she showed, in the actual writing,
like
and it has to be size 14 font, this amount of margins.
Really?
It will say Barlow denies this claim.
And I'm assuming word for word, everything, right?
Yes, because you have to address any of them. Because if you skip one, we're gonna say, oh well, that one they're saying is okay. The when they take your deposition, when we'll record you, and I'll be like, Dominic, did you really take my chapstick?
I want to. I don't want to veer too much off, but I've always wanted to ask this.
Yes,
because it does pertain when you look at these court docs.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're like, what, like
pages and pages and pages.
Someone like, obviously someone has to. Is that like a one-person job? That's not like the lawyer.
It depends. So when you're in court, there's a stenographer that's writing down what you say, but it's not a typical keyboard. It'll be like a button for the and a button for with. Because you wouldn't have enough time.
I follow a girl on TikTok that's studying to do that.
So it's a very special keyboard, and you have to study.
So that's who's doing them.
But also, you write a complaint, and your complaint is the thing that says Dominic was supposed to do this, he didn't do it. These are my allegations. This is where it happened. This is all that, and then you read it and say, I'll sit with my lawyer. Hey, did Dominic do this? And so we say, we deny this one. We agree to that one. We counter and say, well, he told me I could do whatever. So her blowing this thing up and saying denied. True. And they probably didn't submit that.
Also very annoying, but it's really funny.
But to Whitney's point, denied is not dismissed. Actually, I think it was Bronwyn that says these words are not interchangeable because they're not.
What I felt like I was watching was like, wow, Lisa Barlow is having a fucking
she was so defensive.
Anxiety attack. Like she's unraveled. There is some like this is triggering her in a way, and I think it goes beyond her feeling like no, everyone's attacked my everything that I have. I'm like, girl, you're deflecting. You can't deny what it was like 15 lawsuits, right? Whether they're dismissed, they exist, and I think what she keeps forgetting, and I'm trying to give her some grace. I'm not a Lisa Barlow stan.
Okay.
I watched a video on TikTok, someone like talking about Housewives, and they said it's like the Taylor Swift effect with her fans. Like people ride hard for her. This creator's like, I don't know why. That is not necessarily anti Lisa Barlow. It's just like, why do you all ride hard for her? So whatever, I'll say that. However, I think she keeps missing the point of Bronwyn's talking about, well, she kind of says why she's talking about it, but it was in the fucking newspaper. Yeah. So it wasn't like they pulled it like, I'm going to go searching for all her like legal issues if she has any. It was public. It is public. It was in the newspaper. So yeah, we're going to talk about it. And I don't feel like anyone was really saying anything like, well, she's clearly guilty. Fuck her.
Right.
We all do that. If you had court cases and the Columbus Dispatch I would go to my friends and like, guess what?
But also that plays to how this is not reality, but it is reality because first of all, I'm like, nobody would publish that because I'm just me. If like I do get magazine write-ups, but I pitch them and I'm like, hey, you want to write about me?
That's fair. She has fame.
If some
sort,
I know Kobe. If Kobe texts you, hey, isn't this your friend? That's a whole different sphere of anything we've ever
and then
done.
I would talk about it.
So I watched the show and I just want to be like, how would I feel if I was there? And I'm just so far removed. That makes it escapism in a positive way for me to be like, wow, what could those lives actually be like?
Yeah.
But then also, so I'm new to meeting Lisa. Has she lost weight? She looked really skinny at the lunch. She looks good. Like that turtleneck.
She looks the same to me, actually, since season 1.
But then I do like she has one, I felt authentic moment where she says, you guys, I'm dealing with a lot here. Mm-hmm. I just want you to know it'll be handled. And I love that. But also that was before she has the screaming match with Whitney. Mm-hmm. If that's your true sentiment, why are you trying to tell us and showing us all of these dismissed posters? Right? People can have all of their opinions and that does not change the fact. And so it's just kind of like, that actually made me think, she actually does care. She actually does want these women to like her? Yes.
I think, I believe she's under some sort of pressure. She's a human being, right? Mm-hmm. Clearly, if you watch the season trailer, her husband comes up at some point where she starts crying. So I'm like, I don't know. But I try to approach every situation knowing, like, we don't know what happens behind closed doors in people's lives.
You always say that. You're always like, be nice. You have no idea.
You have no idea because I know what that feels like. And even with famous people, you have to. That's why I'm like, you think of like the Taylor Swifts and all these huge people. I'm like, while I'm not a fan whatsoever and I can be really hard on her, I do have to think about, and this is what I would actually tell fans more than Taylor Swift. It's famous, ultra famous people are human beings too.
They are.
And you have to remind yourself, they go through complex emotions just like all of us. You have to remember that. And so I'm trying to extend her that grace. And I do believe, like, whatever. It's a simple case of, this is how are you going to maturely handle the situation? Because she could have left it at that. If I was sitting there, I'm like, okay, that's all I need to hear. But she keeps going on, and then I think it's all deflection, and then it's trying to change the subject. And by doing that, I'm going to call this person out.
But why would you have the posters and not expect them to?
And I would say that part too. It's, you were asking for all this.
Literally. This party's about me.
Yeah. And you know what? There was a part of me that was like, okay, that's a bad bitch move, because that's just funny to me. Except for she didn't handle herself in a way that would have won me over.
As a newbie, I'm just like, what?
Here's the thing: if she wanted to be smart in the Housewives world and wanted to win the whole audience, if I was Lisa Barlow, I wouldn't have done any of that. I would call everyone to lunch and be like, listen, I've said some shit that I did not like, especially to you, Bronwyn, Whitney. Me and you have had shit. Clearly, you all have questions about things that I've gone through legally that I don't feel like I don't feel like no one's owed an explanation because that's my personal life. However, because we are a group of friends, that was a time I would like to open the space. Like, if you want to ask me questions of what's going on, I'll be happy to answer what I can and be open with you guys. I think in episode 4, it was almost like she was trying to go there with the whole vulnerability thing. And she failed miserably, in my opinion. If she would have done that, I feel like she could have won us all over and be like, wow, that's it. Now, for people like me.
That's too mature, though. I don't think she's mature enough to do that.
Well, exactly.
Because what I saw was, I love where Angie says, wait, what is the point of us being here? And then Heather goes, I come here to support the girls and to be around the girls. That is not what this party is, so why am I here?
Yeah.
But my thing was, and now we can get into episode 4, where she does eventually say, I fight with you guys so hard because I love you so hard. No. That's giving daddy hits me because he loves me.
Yeah.
That is absolute. First of all, I argue with my husband. We do not raise our voices. We do not use crazy words. Yeah. But also, I am very sensitive. I don't know if that's because I'm alive. It doesn't really matter. But you can't tease me. Oh, wow, you look fat in those jeans.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. No.
You cannot ever I do not have that relationship with anyone that I know. Because one day I'll think it's funny, and the next day but I'm just, and I will tell people, like, I don't do jokes like that.
Yeah.
And should you keep going?
Yeah. Well, my best friend does call me fat a lot, but it's funny. But we have that dynamic, so I can understand.
But I'm just saying, like, because the thing is, one day I might chuckle.
Like he's my best friend in the whole world. I love him so much. He's so supportive. Okay. There.
And if it fits, I'll
disclaimer. That's why I said it really fast.
But
yes. I see what you mean.
Because one day I might be like, oh, that's funny, and then the next day I'm going to sleep like, oh, that's how you feel. So because Dom keeps telling you, why come on the show if you're going to be private? And I literally made a note. I was like, I don't think I could ever
do it.
I was just like, I don't think I would be a good personality on TV.
Really?
Because I would probably walk out. I'd be like, oh, this is what we're doing? All right, I'll talk to you later.
Hey, you pick and choose your battles. That's for sure.
I'm stoic because I am so emotional, which means if it's some bullshit, I'm just out.
You wouldn't react in the moment to most things. Or at least you're self-aware enough to, like, I'm not going to, you wouldn't be like grabbing your poster boards and going, like, you wouldn't. I would be great for reality TV.
I wish I would be at your lunch and people were all arguing. I'd be like, Dom, I love you. I will see you later. Wait, I'd be like, Dom, what do you need? Would you like to leave? You're like, I'm fine. All right, you guys.
I'm like, get your ass back here, defend me. And hence why I don't know how that would go on TV. Yeah.
Kyla in 2025, there is no way
I
or
see
situation.
Your point in that. Yeah. It's just not important. You understand the.
But I am also a very different person, and I'm sure my friends could be listening and be like, you probably would have been Lisa back in the, I can't say. But right now I'm watching and I'm just like, and for you to have just looked it up and Bronwyn is 40.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah. Well, I'd probably be the Whitney in the group. Unfortunately.
I like Whitney.
I do. No one really cares for her. I shouldn't say that. I don't feel like she gets a good rap. I do like Whitney. She kind of annoys me at certain times. That lunch, I would be Whitney.
You want like a pole in your house, Whitney?
I used to have a stripper pole.
What was the deal with that?
That's like her thing.
Was she a stripper?
No, she just like in season 1.
It is a good exercise.
Season 1, there was like a whole party at her house and she was doing that.
Yeah.
I think that was just her thing, like the whole anti-Mormon, like breaking free. So
was she Mormon before?
Oh, very. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Her and Heather, they're third cousins.
Okay.
And they come from like Mormon kind of royalty, so they're very, very Mormon.
So what's with we find out that Meredith is a lawyer.
Yeah, she's a lawyer by trade.
But she hasn't spoken a lot.
No.
Okay, so did she ever practice?
No. Actually, I watched
her to be on the show. Like,
I actually watched there's a girl on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send her stuff because I think you would really like it. She's been doing these deep dives in all the Housewives. She did all of Salt Lake City. Mm-hmm. I knew that she did go to law school, but she's never practiced.
I love that. Yeah, she would be great on my other show.
Yeah. But what we're alluding to also a little bit is that scene of her, Whitney, and Lisa going at it. Because Whitney challenges Lisa, which I thought was appropriate. An argument erupts, and Lisa insults Whitney's business and calls her a redhead.
When are you going to unravel your business or wrap up your business or something?
Now, do you know why I learned this? Do you know why she dyed her hair red? Because her daughter has naturally red hair and was made fun of for
Whitney is a mom.
Yeah. She has 2 or 3 kids.
So when Whitney gets, we mentioned it quickly, but she goes flower shopping, plant shopping with Britani.
Yes.
And she mentions mothering, but I was like, did she? I couldn't tell if she mentioned that she had a kid. She was just saying as a child of a mom.
Yeah, she has 2 or 3 kids. Okay. And I know that her husband, I believe, also has children. But she has her oldest daughter has red hair, and she dyed her hair in solidarity. I'm like, that's actually really beautiful.
That's sweet.
So I really didn't appreciate Lisa saying that.
See, that's the kind of like good mothering.
Yes. I know if I was in Utah, I would be friends with her.
Yeah.
Because I know that I would really enjoy her.
Can you imagine you get married and then like...
No, I can't.
5 years later, you're like, I really want to be on reality TV. And then they're like, what
would your husband tell you if you said that? Say they're doing. Okay, I'm going to set up the scene. When you ask me, you missed my hypothetical bullshit.
Yeah.
Here's one. This one's not going to be too outlandish, but Real Housewives is coming to Columbus. And someone approached you like, oh, she has a pot. Okay, she does things. She's a daughter. Okay, she's they want to interview you.
Yeah.
And you tell him like, okay, I was approached like to do like an audition tape. I think I'm going to do it. What are your thoughts? What would his reaction be?
His reaction would be positive because I was supposed to be on a YouTube TV channel.
Really? I didn't know that.
I actually applied because I'm being more visible this year. And I applied to do this thing and I was talking about being like a mom to a young child and also running a business. But then when it came to my turn to record, I never turned in my video.
What?
And so I was like, okay, Kyla, so you're ready for some visibility, but not full visibility.
That's a good
because you got to do steps. Yeah. Because I was just like, well, if you're given an opportunity and then you don't fulfill it, something in me was like, I'm not ready for it this big.
Yeah.
But I actually asked him, I was like, how do you feel about being on TV? And he was like, well, I
could see people liking him, like the audience.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I could see that easily. He'd be one of the if you're on Real Housewives, he'd be one of those husbands that people just like really appreciate.
He would be
like a Greg.
Dad.
I was gonna say like Greg. Like you just love Greg.
And he has his witty little quirks, and then you would just be like, he's so funny. Yeah. But also you would look at us and be like, what? Because I'm super loud and outspoken, and then he's really chill. But then we talk about everything.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have a problem.
I love that.
And oh my God, Madison would love it. So wait, we were just talking about me and how I would just walk out.
Yeah.
Do you think what Whitney did was giving that, or you think that was like, my emotions are so high, I got to get out for a hit?
Well, when episode 4 starts, I think she says it right there. She knew what she needed to do in that moment for her, which is like walk away and I need to take a breather, because she was self-aware enough to know like she's probably gonna go savage in a way that she won't look good at all, like even to like people that might like her.
Yeah.
And I respect that because I do things like that. When I know, like, when I can feel like the heat in my head because I'm so fucking pissed. I am that person. Unfortunately, if I'm really mad, even if I'm legitimately mad,
yeah,
I will say things I don't mean because I'm just trying to. When it comes down to it, it's like I'm trying to channel that emotion into words, and I often have a hard time expressing myself.
Yeah.
So instead, I feel like, oh, anger. I just want to say fuck you. Like you're not gonna get there. There's no resolution with that.
That's how I get, and I'll start crying. If you ever see me crying when I'm upset, I'm seeing red, and I am not responsible.
Okay, good to know.
Anything that happens.
I kind of did the same thing actually, but behind.
But my thing is, okay, so I don't mind them arguing. I don't mind the conflict. The lunch was silly. The whole premise of it, I thought it was so funny when the waitress was just trying to take their order.
I know.
But
and Heather was like, I just want food.
I know. I thought Mary was so funny.
Mary's funny. Well, she's really funny in this whole episode. But what I thought was very interesting is how Whitney comes back, and I don't know if I missed something because that wasn't ever settled. It's like she just came back, and then Lisa and Angie start going at it.
Well, they never talk about why were you guys together first? They never get to it because once they get in there with the whole dismiss posters, they never quite get to
true.
Wait, we weren't.
I didn't even. I was like, wait a minute.
Or they cut it.
Which is highly probable.
Yeah.
So they start. Lisa and Angie continue to go over. I thought this was all comical, kind of, about basically about Angie's salon and Lisa's attacks. Mm-hmm. So they have a hair care war. Basically,
that's your brow girl. No, that's your brow girl.
I know. I'm like, I guess Jen Shaw used her, but Angie made it clear. She's like, no, I was going to her long before that.
And Mary's like, I go to her, and they're all like,
I know.
She's like, I'm talking about.
But they have a hair care war. Lisa and Angie exchange their text messages about each other's business ventures. Angie accuses Lisa of instructing her to dig up. Oh wait, we haven't gotten there yet.
What about when she mentions the Sun's line?
Okay,
she's like the business that you created.
I thought that was very interesting. Well, I think I have to say this.
Yeah.
Too. Right before she said that, I think it was actually in the middle of all that. And because I love Angie, she had a great comeback, and I think Mary even said it. She's like, "Oh, that was good," because she's yelling at Lisa, and she's like, "You have French fries, I have franchise." And I'm assuming she's meaning all of her Wendy's deals because Lisa does all these Wendy's commercials. They're actually really good.
That's funny.
They're actually really good. They're my favorite thing about the only thing I really like about Lisa because she makes a big deal about loving fast food.
Yeah,
I'm like, but you're so damn skinny. Like this is not fair. But she does Wendy's commercials all the time.
I love that.
Yeah, they're really funny actually. So I'm assuming that's what that meant. I thought that was so funny. I laughed so hard, and Mary was like, oh, "It's good."
Because Heather had to explain it because she's like, "What? I can't hear."
Yeah.
First of all, even if you own 1.5 hair salons and then you franchise out your name for the other 8,
one of them's in Ohio.
They're all still yours.
Yeah, one of them's in Ohio. It's in a really small town.
What if you own like a big store, like a Hollister? You can't just say like, "Well, I only manage one." You're still a part of this big brand.
If you own a business,
it's all success.
It's all success. If either you own 1 or 15 businesses, stores, whatever. She is a small business owner, and she should be applauded for that. And that's it. So I did not like that attack. I think this is maybe where because I'm such a fan of Angie and not Lisa, I'm trying to check myself. So when she talks about her kids' hair care line, which those comebacks towards the end of the episode when she's talking about
when she comes to repossess the product, I cracked up laughing.
That whole scene of Angie responding, like she's doing text to speech.
And
I laughed.
How she flipped it because she was like, "Oh, your dusty product," meaning it's been here so long.
She's like,
"Here since your place is
no."
dirty.
But when Angie said back, not to skip ahead, but she was like, "I'm sorry that the product was dusty because it wasn't selling." How much that? She is the art of a good housewife comeback. Good. I didn't like any of it because I don't like one disparaging one's business over another. I think I understood what she was saying in terms of I'm like, Lisa, love that you and your like sons are involved in your business. You created a business. I think that's a beautiful thing. It should not be attacked. However, let's call a spade a spade. It's not a luxury product. And I kind of agreed with Angie. She's like, it belongs in Walmart. I mean, I did laugh. I'm like, that's just kind of funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It didn't come from a loving argument. So that part I didn't love, of course. But I don't think necessarily she was wrong. In the sense, I'm like, don't pretend. This is when I get frustrated from just a very basic standpoint. It's like, let's not pretend something is what it's not. And that is, Lisa, girl, proud of you with your kids. That is not a luxury line. It does belong in like Target and in a CVS. It ain't Kerastase.
And all of these women like are successful, but they could be even bigger successful because it's like all of y'all run businesses, so you can probably learn from each of you and have like a
well, that would be a very team building thing that they could do. Yeah. I did watch a video of someone talking about Lisa's tequila. Like, she could make all this money.
Her restaurant looked amazing.
Which I didn't know she fucking had. But like she's a real housewife. She's very popular. This guy was like, here's a suggestion, Lisa, if you want to make a ton of fucking money. Because clearly there's a problem with her distribution. I love all these like TikToks going in on her business based upon words she is saying.
Yeah.
Like I'm learning a lot about business acumen. Wow. And I'm like, okay, I have to get into it later. But they're like, she just like toured the country, like say she goes to gay bars. Those are money makers right there. You can do like a tour around like popular gay bars around the country. Gay men love Lisa Barlow. Look at that. You can sell like hundreds of cases to each like bar. And then there you go. You just made a whole bunch of money. Because you can't, I don't know if you can buy that tequila except for Utah.
Oh, wow.
You can order it online, but it's not in stores anywhere else.
I'm going to order you some for Christmas.
I think I did look once. Yeah. I don't like brown tequila.
Well, you're probably not going to drink it. You're going to be like,
I know, be right there with one of my things.
Okay, what else do you have about the party? And then we can.
The last thing I'll say about it is, I think Lisa's very calculated, and this is something going back to something that you kind of hinted at earlier. I think she's a very not that you said she's calculated. I'm saying that, but I forgot you said something earlier about her. I think she's a very calculated person, and there's a part of me that when you watch, I almost want to watch Just the Luncheon as not two separate episodes. I want to put it all together because there's a part of me that wondered because Heather stepped in. Finally, and I think what she said was very poignant and very good. Basically saying, you're wrong, this whole thing, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And Lisa, you need to be, I'm going to tell you like it is, you need to be more fucking vulnerable, girl.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. In that
even Mary harped in.
Yeah. And I would say this, there was a part of me, and I'm sorry if this is kind of not going to be well received. It was almost like the housewife, you put a producer on, and she's like, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get the bad edit. So I'm going to turn this ship around. It was almost like she heard Heather. It was like, I don't know. I did not feel it was genuine when she was her version of being vulnerable. I'm like, I did not feel.
So here's the thing. Genuine, we can't say because that's
right. I don't know, and maybe that's how.
But I do think that like authenticity and then also being transactional are different, and I think that Lisa is just a transactional person.
That's true,
and a lot of that she probably gets honest. Like, I'm a Taurus sun, Taurus rising, Capricorn moon. I am very like, I need these 3 things done. I don't care how you really get them done, but they have to be done. Yeah. And that is, it can come off a certain way. Sometimes you think it's sometimes you think it's that.
She did, not necessarily that, but she did allude like, I was brought up differently than you guys.
And I like when
I did appreciate that. I'm like, okay, I guess maybe that is something to be said for
But then she went too far by saying like, I go so hard at you guys because I love you so much. And it's like, yes, and you're still responsible for the things you're saying.
Well, I'm like, I was hoping there'd be like, Whitney would be like, you mean that you love me too? Because I'm like, you girl, you are not saying that to Whitney.
We don't know if it was just the edit, but I like that Bronwyn wasn't really saying too much.
Yeah.
She just was waiting. But then they have their own meeting later. My only problem with that, I don't trust Lisa.
I don't either.
And even from the beginning where I was like, ooh, I'm excited to see her because she wasn't in episode 1. And then I got to see her in episode 2 and you were like, she's kind of iffy.
And she's iconic. She really kind of is.
I am terrified that everything Bronwyn said to her is going to come back and she'll be betrayed. I did not like them speaking in her restaurant, tequila bar. And I was just like, I love that Bronwyn wants to trust her. I don't feel like the words she said are safe.
Yeah.
And that made me so sad.
Well, that's a good segue into that scene also that Angie meets up with Meredith, which they've had issues. And she's initially saying something similar. She's like, she was accusing Lisa of...
I wanted the screenshots though, because she was like, no, she has said this word for word.
And I hope she has. It sounds like she's really...
What if it's a recording?
Well, it sounds like she... If I had to like dissect Housewives language... She was very confident when Meredith was like, okay, well, you don't have to bring this to her. She's like, yes, please. And
there's got to be
if you're that confident, exactly, like you can back up your statements. And I feel like, and so I agree with you.
Do they hang out by themselves often?
Who? The girls
Angie
in general?
And Meredith?
No, they have like
it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, well, I think she even said that they've always had kind of like tension between them. And so only in recent times have they been trying to like work on that.
So Meredith and Angie, first episode, you don't see them together at the camping. And then you only see them together at lunch. And then I see them together and I was like, this doesn't fit. They didn't have any kind of joking or camaraderie going. But also, tension. I was like, Meredith is stunning because you don't really see her in the first 2 episodes. And then we get to see her in her store.
Yeah.
She sells, it's like a retail store.
I'm not sure what it is.
And you get to see her daughter and her husband all in that one scene.
Well, her husband's a staple. He used to work for, I think I can say this. It's on his LinkedIn. So yeah. In past seasons, he's often in Ohio.
Oh.
And I used to go.
Big Lots?
He used to be, I don't know if he's an exec. He was something large at in retail companies.
Wow.
And he would work at Big Lots.
So you come back his LinkedIn page?
Yeah, I sure did. Well, somebody posted it, so I looked at it.
I love that.
Because I think they even said at one point, they specifically said Columbus at one point. And that's why I was like, her? Like my ears went up.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Because I knew he was like in retail industry.
I love that.
So it's really interesting.
So no, she's stunning. And I was like, wait, and so pretty. Then I was like, wait, lawyer and you own a retail store.
And she's a DJ and she's gonna be at Axis nightclub. She's on tour. She's coming to Columbus.
Come to my show.
Yeah.
I thought so I was like, because this is my first time meeting her, and I was like, oh, this Meredith is fascinating.
She's kind of iconic too,
yeah. Is she? Because she's quiet in this season.
She has a lot of like one line, like there. Okay. It's almost like after this, you might have to binge like the whole series or something.
I might have to
because it's, and I think actually that would be really interesting because then you can full grasp how I view everyone emotionally, and like just I guess Housewives fans because she is her and Lisa, they are icon. I won't take that away from them.
Yeah. But. So you guys, I started watching Sex and the City in season 5, so I immediately.
Oh my god, this is like on par.
Yeah, you. So I had an impression of Big because I saw Carrie with Berger.
Yeah.
And I already had an impression of Miranda because I saw her with Steve, and then I had to go back. So for me to start
that's interesting.
Salt Lake City in season 6 and then go back, I would have completely different eyes.
You might.
Yeah.
She has a lot of good one-liners.
Interesting.
So yeah, you mentioned it. Lisa and Bronwyn, they meet up, had their little talk. I thought it was nice. I mean, it sounded like it ended lovely because Lisa apologizes. Here's the thing. This is what I don't like about Housewives, though. And Lisa's the queen of this, and because this is why I don't believe her. She will say things like, "If I did those things, I apologize." Like when you apologize to me, I mean, I need to hear specifics. Like, what are you sorry for?
That's like saying, "I'm sorry you felt that way."
Exactly, which is not an apology.
It's not an apology.
When you say, "I'm sorry for the things that I've done." Okay, can you name them? Because I want to know what you're actually sorry for. Because I come from the place, if you can't, then you're just giving me this to move this along. And I'm the type of person, I'm not saying, it sounds like Bronwyn was receptive. I need to hear what the specifics are, or I can't personally move on. Because I'm going to be thinking, kind of similar what you said, like, I can't trust you anymore.
See, and I'm the completely opposite. You don't ever have to apologize. Just don't ever do it again. Damn. And so if you say it, and you've done it one more time, you're done. So I would rather you, because you don't need to have a reckoning to me. Never do it again.
Yeah.
You never do it again. We're Gucci. But that's where, when you see me like leave a job, because I'm like, I told them don't do it. Did they do it? Yeah. I'm out. Because I'm just like.
When you've made up your mind, you've made up your mind.
Betrayal is so black and white to me. And it's
interesting. I guess it is for me too.
But it's very, very.
It is, yeah. No, that's a good point. It is to me too, except for I need certain things.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it's not really working for me because I often I don't want to say I hold on to things, but it's like when you had a cheating boyfriend, and it's like I couldn't get it out of my head, and I hate to fall into that like whole stereotypical like, oh, you haven't talked to me in a day, so you're fucking somebody. But the thing, where my mind goes, I don't know. If
you can't get past it, and you'll always hold it over them. Then you acknowledge that because the thing is, like, when we say like sending love and light, you're the one that's holding it. They might not even be thinking about it. You're holding it, and so it's
oftentimes I've been in that scenario. That's actually interesting. I usually am the one that's overthinking it.
But however it makes you feel, you have to get to a space where you feel better. And so for me, it's usually like.
That's a good point. So let's end it with.
Mary at church.
Well, I guess I'm not ended there.
Or Lisa sending back the product.
Well, that we have to talk about that.
Or why do I keep mixing up their names? No, it wasn't Lisa.
Lisa sending back or asking for the product back. I'll just say
first of all, the flashback. She was like, "I thought this girl was coming in to get her hair done," and she's like, "I'm here for Lisa."
It just validates how much I love Angie because I don't even think she is funny, but in some of these scenes. she's not like trying to be.
She's just naturally has great timing.
And I will say this before we get into that specific, but I loved seeing her salon and her like
it's beautiful.
Knowing like my license lapsed and I need to get it. I'm like that's his character to me.
Her doing
Heather's like perm or whatever.
So there's a couple of things.
I thought it was so cute.
The last season of Real Housewives of Atlanta that I watched, season 15, Kenya is opening up a salon.
Yeah, and we never got to sit.
And it kind of would have looked like, they had a sketch and then they had one little party there.
Yeah, well, you see it in season 16, but she got fired.
So I was like, I love that. Yeah. But then I also like that in this season, well, the only season I know, they're actually showing us the ladies at work.
Yeah, I
love
when
not only now you get to write off the business and getting some promotion.
It brings them human.
It does.
And I need to see things like that.
Yeah, it's not only us get together and we have lunch.
Well, you know why? It shows about conflict and resolution. If I'm just saying only conflict, how can I have any kind of humanity towards you when it's like, if I'm seeing someone just scream and yell all the time, let's say, I can't rationalize anything about you if I don't know, like, your home life, you go to business, you taking care, like Bronwyn, she has all this shit that I was like, oh my God, her dad has Alzheimer's, her mom was like having surgery, she's dealing with her daughter, like kind of becoming an adult, and she brings in that her daughter's boy. That's it brings complexity and humanity to somebody. And therefore, when you see someone have a not so good moment, it helps bring humanity to them where I could be like, you can start processing it, like, okay, this is probably why she's doing it. Or like you can give them grace, I guess is the simple way of saying it.
But I think that plays to maybe the better editing of the current seasons. Because when I think about Real Housewives of Atlanta, which I've watched all 15 seasons, I just feel like it's mostly them in conflict. You might get a splash of Nene has kids. You might get a splash of... Because that's why it's such a big storyline that Kandi has 18 jobs. Because we never really see too much about them. And I don't know if it's because their personalities were so big and they had so many legacy characters.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
That's been part of it. But I think Angie is just so natural. So I did love seeing that. And then I'm curious because I didn't.
What do you think about the $600? The product wasn't worth $600.
I just thought you're so fucking petty. You're so petty.
See, this show is funny. The businesses that I run are not product based.
Right.
But I'm like, you got a line and you guys had your own products and branding on it and all that. I'm like, oh my God, that's such a big deal. And now it's just like, give me my shit back.
Well, it makes me wonder. I'm like, I'm sure you can if it's yours. I'm used to working with like corporate retail, like big company, not like a boutique or anything. So I'm thinking about like, there's no way, like if I worked at like a Nordstrom or something and a designer was like, give me your clothes. I want my clothes back. Like that wouldn't happen. So I was like, you can just, but that's how my mind thinks because I don't know otherwise. So I'm like, you can just like, take your I guess you can.
Those are the things that just show me like this isn't regular life, but also it is, and you just hope that at the end of the night these ladies are like, damn, my lives are pretty sweet.
Well, here's the thing. The Lisa and Angie of it all, I was very taken aback because I did leave that luncheon like, cheers, I love you all. And then you were like, what, sitting on your fucking couch probably. Let's be honest, she doesn't have an office anywhere.
Yeah. Saying, probably eating chips.
And she's telling her assistant, okay, I'm going to text Angie really fast.
That's such a boss move. Go get my shit.
I know. I'm like, what happened? So I'm really looking forward to learning more about like what in her mind.
Yeah. Lisa gives her monologue at lunch and we see the girls' faces, but we don't really hear too much of, I received that. I respect that.
Yes,
okay.
That's true.
We mostly just see their faces. And then they go into some of the funniest parts where Mary has lunch with Heather. Like you see a snippet of that. Yeah. And you see a snippet of this. So like,
well, I want to know.
They cut out a lot.
They probably do.
They cut out a lot.
But I think that was I would like to know why because because that was also petty. And then the whole text message. Angie is so funny with her text message back to her.
I know.
I'm like, wow, she really thought about this because that is so creative. Because I would be like, fuck you, bitch. I just love that whole like, I'm sorry it was dusty because it doesn't sell. I mean, that is so funny and so witty. But like Heather didn't seem to really have much of a reaction. I'd be like, shouldn't you be mad because you were like the voice of reason at that table? I'd be like, and you're Lisa's friend. If the roles were reversed and I'm in all this and I'm in the hair chair, my friend who's having a debacle with our other friend, I'd be like, so-and-so really fucking just said that? Hold on. I'd be on the phone like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I really like Heather. She's in the middle without being corny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She'll say just enough to be like, this isn't why I wanted to be here, but also, no, but you said that too. Like she's a really good moderator.
She really is. And she's very interesting and she's funny. She's all the things. So it's quite evident that Bravo, NBC Universal, all of the above are putting her as like the star-ish of the show are being really kind of what you just said is actually like the moderator of the show. Like she is almost like turning the ship in a direction. And if you watch past seasons, it definitely makes sense because she becomes it's almost like she's very territorial of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's almost like, I don't want to say it's her show. Yeah. Because we've kind of heard that before from other shows. But it almost seems like when Bronwyn's a perfect example. So she's very hard on Bronwyn for whatever reason. And it's almost like she's very like, these are my girls. This is my show. And whoever I'm letting in, it's like, I personally have to vet you.
She's like mentoring them.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. So it is kind of interesting. But I wanted to see her go. And maybe I have read rumors that there is a rift between Lisa and Heather. So maybe
I do not
more
want
to
be
come.
On Heather's bad side.
We'll see.
Which is fun. Somebody said that at lunch. They were like, when you're on someone's good side, they feel like they're on top of the world. And when you're cold to them.
That's what Heather said that to her.
Okay. Yeah. And that's such a.
I agree with that.
That's a lot of power to have. And it makes sense because you always are talking about how people really stand for her. Mm-hmm. But also acknowledge that. Like when you are cold to someone and you shun them, it's felt.
This is when you know this is This is Housewives, this is reality TV. Mm-hmm. This is fame. This is all the things. Because if my friends, whatever, sat me down and said, listen, you're acting this way. You're not approachable. Or not that she said that, but I'm interpreting basically saying, when you're mad at someone, Lisa, it's almost like there's no exactly. And then you just have to go full force on whatever it is that you're hoping to gain out of said rift. If my friend said that to me, I would naturally go, well, if everyone is saying it, I have to do some reflection and understand why it is I act this way in certain scenarios. If she could say fucking that, but that's when you know I'm like, okay, this is Housewives. So that wouldn't be fun TV necessarily.
I know. And I think that's why I do avoid the conflict because I'm not, passive aggression makes me aggressive. And I will like straight up walk to you and be like, hey, did you do da-da-da-da-da? And watching this made me think of, when I was in law school, someone stole from me, but I couldn't react because it was my roommate. So we talked through it. And I had to wait till the lease was out. And I would literally walk past them like they were furniture. But I hated how that felt in my body.
Had to be like...
now I'm like, I could never do that again.
I couldn't do that even now.
Because I plotted my revenge for years. And I think we are so loving and empathetic and open because if you cross it, you really fuck up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think...
That's where we're like, we will give you the moon.
Yes.
How dare you want the moon and a planet? All right.
I think we handle it. We have different approaches, but we're the same in the sense of we really are all heart and soul, and we really give a lot to people. Like, or at least for me, what I can say is, if I choose to give you my heart, so to speak, and then whether that's friends or relationship, family, it means that I am committed to some extent. Yeah. So therefore, I also, if I feel burdened or hurt, I really feel that tough. And that's just, I'm built that way. I don't know what that means. I'm that way too.
But... Which is why, like, I have to ask people, and I know I get on your nerves. I'm like, can I come over? Can I just...
I know, my God, just walk the fuck in.
Your stuff. Yeah. Because also, like, but I need to if you ever tell me no, you have to, like...
You know, I'm saying that because I always, just come on. You don't have to ask me anything. Yeah. I am the same exact way when I go to places. I almost don't do things purposely in the event, as if I'm predicting a possible outcome that I know is not going to happen. Like when you go out to dinner with somebody, someone's offering to pay for me. I think we talked about this. Whether they tell me
the cheapest thing,
I will. I can't. I
not be a burden.
It doesn't matter if you are. Well, maybe if you did have millions of dollars, then maybe I would approach it differently with somebody. But if it doesn't matter if they say order whatever you want, I'd be like, okay, where's the salad menu? I don't know how to not be that person.
Cause you don't want to take advantage either, but you're also like, we're getting better. What's up with Bronwyn? Oh, the mom.
Well, that's how it ended. I ended with her and her mom, and
it did.
And I left that conversation when I watched it, and I literally said, and I will apologize, Bronwyn. I did say that. I'm like, because I felt that in my heart. I'm like, fuck you.
But I'll be honest though, Bronwyn is getting better at standing up to herself, or at least the editors are showing.
And I'm sure that's not. I'm sure that's such a not easy journey. Well,
the truth is, she's probably getting better at it because she's standing up to herself with other girls.
Yeah.
And that's probably making like her realize like, oh, I can do this to my mom. My mom is just an adult as well.
Which is so interesting when you see people like Bronwyn. I view them as like very strong, stoic people. Look at her fight with Lisa at Amy's house. I'm like, her comebacks and the attacks on her from Lisa, she remains unbothered of how she approaches her back. Yeah. It might hurt emotionally. And she'll kind of like you, maybe like, I'll cry about it somewhere else. But she's very stoic and she's very like appears unbothered. And so it's really interesting to see. It almost all comes full circle. You can start formulating like, wow, look at her mom. And
I feel like Bronwyn and Whitney are good Judys outside.
I could see.
Because when they're kind of together, it's almost like she gets a little battery pack boost of strength.
Yeah, they are very similar in certain ways.
They are.
When I think about it. But that scene made me really sad. Like what you mentioned about the baby thing with her shopping, that just broke my heart. And I'm like,
and the thing is,
I don't know, man.
I mean, the mom was saying it like it was supposed to be a diss, and she's like, she's learning from you. But I was like, and thank God Bronwyn hasn't become the parent that you've taught her to be.
Or thank God she's emotionally strong, because that could break some women. Or not just women, that can break anybody. Like,
or she probably built herself back up. I'm sure that did break her.
Maybe for a certain amount of time. But then it makes me wonder, I'm like, does she treat whatever she... I didn't understand the whole foster care state. I didn't understand quite that. It almost seemed like Bronwyn was like, I would never allow that to happen.
I know.
I feel like the mom was trying to imply, like, came close to it or something. Yeah. Thank God I'm here. And I'm like, do you treat Gwen, the daughter, like any kind of different way? It makes me wonder. I'm like, I want to see their interactions. Do you treat her like shit too?
I don't know, but I thought it was so funny when the kids were going to bowling practice.
I didn't get that. I had to rewatch that because I thought I was mishearing of like what they were basically insinuating.
I was asking them, like, so what about bowling? What about this? And the mom's like, private time, like sexy time. Like they probably just
go
somewhere and have sex in the car. Or get a hotel room, or just go anywhere.
Oh,
what if the boyfriend still has his apartment? They just like eat all the food at
or they go to his parents' house.
That'd be so funny. I mean, I watched this, and at first I'm thinking like, oh man, harsh. But then I also remember they all are coming from organized religion, and organized religion is also has its own parenting conditioning that gives you.
Not to offend a whole community of people, but I do know a little bit about it. But and then the whole Mormon of it all. It's a very interesting.
It adds an additional slant.
It really kind of does. It's a very interesting religion.
So I don't think that Whitney mentions having kids when they're in the plant shop, but when she's with Britani, who I thought that whole thing was so awkward. Because first of all, I was like, where did
this came up a little bit last season about like she didn't talk to her daughter wasn't talking to her rather. And it's touched, but it's not like you don't go too in depth. But it was definitely about her choosing men over her kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm not watching this scene, and I was Whitney in that. I wanted to grab her by the shoulders, and she's like, "I'm hearing you, but it almost seems like you're not."
Your kids.
Yeah, she's like, "Your kids should be number one, no matter what." And she was like, "Yeah." It was like I couldn't wrap my head around it.
So that
I'm like, maybe
Theo and I have talked about that. Theo's my husband, because when your kids are grown and move out of your house, you still should love the other person, right? We're just like, yes, we have this third person, but when she's gone, we still have to be us, or we're going to be like, well, that's it. We raised the kid. So I don't know what the line is. And I haven't seen Britani in past seasons. I haven't seen her with her daughter. I haven't seen any of that.
No one had. She doesn't have a relationship really with them.
But if you remember a couple episodes ago, you and and I'm just like, what would you do if your kid didn't like your guy? And now to find out that that's actually might be what's happening.
Well, it seems like that is what is coming. But I think it was
her kids are grown though.
Yeah, they're like adults.
Okay.
And she keeps putting men over her children. That's her thing. Yeah. And it's almost like she clearly has some sort of trauma of why she patterns, right? But B, it's like let's think about it this way. And you're a mom and I'm not, but
to what extent? Right?
Well, at all, I'm like, I come from that place. My mom, I can never imagine her not putting her children.
I know.
First, I know it's all a balance, so to speak, but she's still married to my father for a very long time. So this is a single woman just dating. So it's like, how do you not put your children?
How ironic is that compared to Bronwyn's mom saying, you're only okay because of Todd. Todd, and then you needed that stability.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, damn.
I'll tell you what, Britani, that whole scene,
that was tough.
You did not win points with anybody, and she seems very like a tryhard. I don't know who told you to act this way, but if you want to win the fans over, what you should have done is get a little emotional and vulnerable and be like, I do have to put my children first, or something. It was not coming across, and that's why Whitney was like, girl, she was almost telling her, because your children are number one, right?
Listen, I am learning so much from this show, even about parenting, because I'm just like, first of all, teenagers will be very different, but then also your kids will always need your love and affection, even if they're grown.
Yeah.
And then
it's true.
So there's so much we're missing about like why the kids feel this way, or maybe if you had to come up with a fake storyline for a show, like a less damaging one, could that be the storyline? Oh, my kids don't like my boyfriend. It's pretty lighthearted. But that's also
not a new thing in the world where it's like okay, your kids don't like your boyfriend, but there is a way to like separate the two entities where you're not just like, I'm not saying she's abandoning her children, but where it doesn't come across that way, at least. Clearly there's some there.
When I hear choosing a man over your children, I'm hearing my kids were hungry, but I wanted the guy to come over and be with me, and then I'll deal with that later.
I agree.
And I hope it's not that drastic, especially if they're grown. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a, Mom, I need $2,000, but you don't have money and you need the boyfriend to give you the money. Mm-hmm. There's so much we want to know.
She has a really lovely house. I think she was married at one point. I don't think she's struggling. She's on TV now. So
what if the kids just want your attention, but you're always like, got a date?
I think that's what it's coming off as. It seems very superficial. But if you're a parent and you just can't simply, without being prompted, be like, my kids are my number one priority in life. And I think it's unfortunate, but like Vicky Gunvalson on The Real Housewives of Orange County went through something similar like this. And that's a complicated situation. However, she was on the record of saying, if my kids don't like this guy, I can't be with him.
Yeah.
And I think there's something to be said for because I also hear the other thing of like single parents dating men. Women, I've often heard talk about this. They're like, if my kids don't like him, red flag.
Yeah.
And I feel like...
But you have to be close to your kids for it to be a red flag, right? If my kids don't know me, then you can't be a good judge.
I'll say you this. This is reason 1,859 where I'm so glad that I don't want to be a parent. I don't want to go through any of this.
Well, the funny thing is, and I was having this talk with someone, a lot of people want babies. Mm-hmm. They don't want the children to grow up. Because then it's like, I still got to feed you for the rest of my life. And it's like,
I don't want to be responsible for a baby.
Pregnant, they think about the baby.
Oh yeah, so what you can't
about having a correct homework.
I want a baby where I don't sleep because they're going to cry all the fucking time, can't speak up for themselves. That sounds horrible too. No offense.
My kid slept for hours. We had to strip her to her diaper to eat because she would be asleep. So it's not always bad either, but then you have to still want them to be around when they're 4 and 11.
You never know what that journey looks like. And I don't plan on experiencing it.
I wasn't expecting this series to be all parenting and fun, but it has been. Thanks for overanalyzing.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye. All right, so I'm pill popping.
That's something to brag about.
I know. It's a
legal thing.
Ultra.
What is it? Tylenol?
Women's over 40.
Oh.